This presentation is about chromatics and the chromatic scale as it relates to the piano keyboard. If you've ever seen or heard of the chromatic scale, you know that it is made up of all of the half steps or every note on the keyboard in one octave. We know that in music there are 12 unique tones, or more specifically 12 unique pitches, and each one of those pitches is a half step or a minor second away from the one below it or above it. As such, this is a very dissonant scale because it doesn't follow any specific pattern. It's just everything all the time. And this is what it sounds like. You might notice that I played 13 pitches instead of 12 because I started here on C and went all the way up through 12, and then to finish it out on C, that is number 13. So on the keyboard, and if you don't know how to look at a keyboard, each one of the keys has a letter name, and there's a pattern of 2 black keys and another pattern of 3 black keys. And this goes throughout the whole length of the keyboard, and this is actually instrumental in helping us find the notes. If they were all just white and black keys, it would look all identical and you wouldn't be able to distinguish anything. C, being a main note in music, is located just to the left of the group of 2 black keys there. When we go up that entire system and get to the next spot where we've got that C, that is called an octave. Okay, from, Octavius. I don't know who that was, but probably had something to do with 8, right? So if we start on C, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 unique letter names in the musical alphabet. And then when we get back to the next one, we get to C there, and that would be 8. So there's our octave. Then we also have enharmonic keys, or the black keys, that can be sharp or flat versions of all of these regular letter names there. So the sharp versions are to the right of each natural key because we know a sharp raises the pitch. So C, this is a raised C, D, raised D, F, raised F, G sharp, and A sharp. Of course, you can have flat versions because a flat lowers the pitch by a half step. So starting on the right side here and going to the left, B flat, A flat, and down. Okay, so we've got these keys that have the same sounding pitch. For instance, C sharp and D flat. They sound identical to our ears, but we can see them in different ways and write them in different ways when we're doing that in music. And enharmonic, or the same sound, same harmony, is what we call those. On the ladder of chromaticism, you've got each rung representing a half step. So if we started from this A and went all the way up to this A, we end up with a full chromatic scale. The enharmonic notes are included, and notice that between B and C and E and F, we don't have an enharmonic note. Those are the 2 places on the piano keyboard where there is no black key in between the white keys. A whole step is determined by starting on one rung of the ladder, skipping one, and going to the next rung. So from C to D is equal to 2 half steps or a whole step. Remember that they do need to be adjacent to letter names. So if we were going from E up a whole step, we would have to call that an F sharp, right? E to F sharp, because those are adjacent letters. E to G would not be that. But wait, there's more. There's advanced stuff here that you want to know about. Notice that there are notes that don't have that black key between them, but those can still be raised or lowered. Well, we've got E going down to E flat, but can you have an E sharp as well? Of course you can. Generally, we usually use F natural because that's usually easier for a musician to read, but there might be some situations where you've got an F sharp and you've also got an these 2 keys, and you want to distinguish them. You don't have to write F sharp, F natural, F sharp, F natural. You can write F sharp, E sharp back and forth. Okay, that might be easier, actually easier for a performer. You can also double flat or even double sharp notes. So if we lower a note, G down 2 half steps, G flat, G double flat. This is very rare, but it theoretically is possible, and it is used in some situations. All of these 3 sounding pitches, both E sharp, F natural, and G double flat, would be sounding the exact same thing. Of course not, the rest doesn't sound the same, but those all sound the same, but they look different. Notes that have been raised 2 half steps are called double sharp, which they don't use 2 sharp signs. They use that little X thingy. It's called a double sharp sign. Sometimes there's a couple dots around those too, so if you ever see that, you know it's a double sharp. And again, all 3 of those things have the same sounding pitch. C flat, B natural, and A double sharp. Very exciting stuff there. And there they are on the keyboard. I don't know how to make a double sharp, so I just put an X there. So there you have it. Of course, if you want to press the limits of music theory, could you have a G triple flat or an F quadruple sharp? No, that's just stupid. Don't ever do that.